Hi, everybody, and welcome to the webinar Selling on Amazon 101. I'm Ryan Murtagh, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. And I'm really thrilled to be joined by Amazon's Brittany Rinker. Thanks for coming online for the webinar today, Brittany. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Thanks for having
That's
me.
great. So I guess it's now been almost 12 months since Amazon launched into Australia, and it's really been, I guess, a big year for Amazon and for retail and online retail specifically in Australia. And we've seen the launch of Amazon Prime, Fulfillment by Amazon, and in the last month, new product categories for automotive, travel, and pet supplies. And the Amazon platform is obviously continuing to evolve and grow, and I guess get to parity with what it is in other markets. And from a retailer's perspective, our recent State of E-commerce report really revealed that marketplaces are continuing to gain momentum in this market, with 1/3 of e-commerce sales now coming through marketplaces for Neto merchants. And on the Neto side, for us, which is something that's very exciting, is we recently finished our Amazon product registration feature, which we're going to demo a little bit of later today. And Brittany will be sharing some of her tips for getting started and obviously succeeding on the Amazon platform. Okay, so let's just jump straight into today's webinar, and we'll start by, I guess, telling you a little bit about ourselves, the two hosts. So my name's Ryan. I'm the founder and CEO of Neto, and Neto is Australia's leading retail management platform. And I guess our DNA is actually being multi-channel retailers ourselves. So Neto started as an online retailer, selling on eBay, and through our own web presence and our own bricks and mortar warehouse store. So we intricately understand, I guess, the pain points of retail and solving those. And of course, we're also joined by Brittany Rinker from Amazon Australia. So Brittany began her career with Amazon at their Seattle-based headquarters in 2014. And after onboarding over 500 US-based businesses and tens of millions of products in her first 3 years, she transferred to Australia in 2017, where she was one of the first members of the Amazon Australia team in Sydney and worked very much on the launch of Amazon.com.au. Brittany, can you maybe tell us a little bit about what your role is in Amazon today and what you guys are currently working on?
Sure. Thanks, Ryan. So my team here at Amazon in Australia is tasked with the seller experience. So the registration process all the way through, or even before that, really, driving awareness of the Selling on Amazon program, as well as the experience that sellers go through to register and create their first listings. So we're really focused on seller education and helping to surface the right information to sellers at the right time.
Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into it. I guess the agenda for today's webinar is, first of all, I'm going to hand over to Brittany to speak about selling on Amazon. She'll be going through the Amazon opportunity, top tips for marketplace sellers, and an overview of fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA. I'll then be giving you an update on Neto's Amazon Australia integration. So what exactly it is and how it works. I'll be doing a live demo on the integration and our brand new product registration feature, and also explaining how you can get started on selling with Amazon through Neto. We'll also be obviously answering any questions towards the end of the webinar. Okay, so I'll hand over to Brittany now, and she can kick off the session.
Great. Thanks, Ryan. Let me just switch over the screen here. Great. So as Ryan mentioned, I will be sharing with you a high-level overview of the Amazon Marketplace today and sharing some best practices that I recommend sellers keep in consideration while getting started in this new channel of sales. As Ryan mentioned, I've previously worked as an account manager one-to-one with many businesses, both in the US and here in Australia. And so hopefully I'll be sharing some of what I've learned through that interaction to help you get started with us today. So as Ryan mentioned, we did launch our marketplace in December 2017, so almost a year ago. And this has been very much a must-win space for us. We're putting the building blocks in place for long-term success. And this has been our largest international expansion in terms of both selection and sales. And we're still growing very quickly. Since that launch and on the launch, we had over 20 million products. We've since tripled the selection and expanded into new categories, as Ryan mentioned, such as automotive and recently in pantry, food and beverage. So we are continuing to launch new programs and categories available to our sellers in Australia in order to get to parity with those more mature marketplaces. And we're doing that very quickly. So to start off, before I jump into some of the more marketplace specifics, I'm going to share with you a little bit of overview on the marketplace business and who our customers are. So Amazon has over 300 million active customer accounts worldwide, and they're spread over 185 countries. Our customers are loyal and drawn to Amazon because of the customer obsession that we show. And they shop on our marketplaces expecting quality of selection, a high bar for customer service, great prices, speedy delivery, all of these things that have really become synonymous with the Amazon brand. And today we do have 13 different marketplaces worldwide for sellers to register and sell and get in front of those Amazon customers. Today, of course, we'll be speaking about specifically the amazon.com.au marketplace in Australia. So by selling on Amazon, we want to give you access to these customers that I just spoke about. On the website, products are sold in two different ways. So one of the ways being through our retail business. So as a traditional retailer, Amazon does source product direct from brands and from vendors. And we do maintain ownership of that inventory and sell it direct to consumers on the site. And those products would be shown as sold by Amazon. However, what we'll be talking about today is our marketplace business, where third-party sellers like yourselves can register to list your products and get those in front of Amazon customers. So these products do come up just the same on the website. So customers will see them alongside retail offerings in search and browse results. The main difference being on that detail page, those listings say sold by, and then that display name of the seller who's listed the product. In 2017, we did share some stats for the first time that our third-party paid units surpassed our retail sales in 2017. So I think it just goes to show the opportunity that is there for third-party sellers selling on Amazon. It does make up the majority of our sales today, and so I'm really excited to be part of this business and sharing this opportunity with you. As a third-party seller, when you're listing on Amazon, you are determining what products you are offering, what price you are listing those products at, of course, how many products you have in inventory, and you're also determining where you would like to ship to and at what cost to the customer. So I know this is super relevant to our Australian sellers. We do have the ability to kind of break down your shipping rates to be by region, so you can set separate rates depending on where you're shipping to. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that selling on Amazon is not meant to take away from business you're already doing, but rather give you a new channel of sales to grow. So we definitely don't want to take away from any sales you're doing in store or online through your own website. We are hoping that this new channel of sales will give you access to a large growing customer base and allow you to reach some incremental customers that may not otherwise walk into your store or come across your products online. When selling on Amazon, you also have the ability of leveraging our existing structure, which is going to take the time-consuming and expensive tasks such as customer acquisition or payment processing off of your shoulders. And we are, of course, also going to provide you with some tools and growth levers necessary to support your business and maximize your potential. So this is going to range from a variety of reporting in Seller Central to give you visibility and insights on your business, as well as programs such as Fulfillment by Amazon to help you scale logistics for this new channel of sales. And I'll be speaking a little bit more about that Fulfillment by Amazon program today. Now to go over just a high level how this program works and how you would get started. So the first step, I think, in any channel selling online, and maybe not even specific to online, but is going to be to determine what you would like to sell. And once you have identified the products that you would like to get started with, you can register an account. The registration itself takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Pretty straightforward. You provide a little bit of information on the business and you choose that display name that you would like to sell under on Amazon. And again, that's what the customer sees on your detail page where it says sold by, and then that display name. Now, once you've created that account for Seller Central, which is the portal where you will manage selling on Amazon and interact with us alongside your Neto account, you have the ability to publish your products, which we can leverage our friends at Neto and their platform for getting the products published. And of course, once you have those listings created, again, they're coming up in search and browser results just like anything else on the site. So customers are able to find and buy those products on amazon.com.au. Now, when an order is placed, you will be responsible for either shipping that product to the customer directly, or ahead of time, perhaps you sent your products to us to handle the fulfillment for you. But when the product is sold, Amazon is going to manage that payment processing and deposit sales revenues directly to you. Now, of course, what a lot of you are probably curious about, great, that sounds awesome, but what does it cost? The selling on Amazon fee structure is very straightforward. It's made up of two parts. The first being a monthly membership fee, which is $49.95 Australian dollars. And the second part is a referral fee, which is a percentage of sales, and it does vary by category, between 6 to 15% in Australia. And I do want to point out right now we do have a limited time offer on new sellers joining, a promotion for registration, and that is that you would receive your first 2 months monthly membership fee at 50% off, and then you would receive 6 months free. So it gives you plenty of time to get started, create these listings, publish your products. Now, and what you're getting for your money are essentially a couple of things. So with that monthly membership fee, there's no listing fee. You do get an unlimited amount of products that you can list with that one fee. So the more we typically recommend, the more the better. And I'll talk a little bit about that a little later on. But also what you're getting for your money here, especially in this referral fee, what I recommend for sellers to look at this as, this is going to include payment processing. So there's no additional credit card transaction fees. This is protecting you 100% against fraud. And also Amazon is incurring the cost of maintaining the marketplace and driving traffic to that marketplace in the first place. So Amazon sellers, no matter how large or how small, are all paying that same referral fee. So there is a level playing field. And the nice thing about existing or supplementing your existing sales channels with selling on Amazon is that, again, we're paying for that upfront customer acquisition cost, and you're really just trading your normal upfront overhead for a revenue share model instead. So when it comes to selling on Amazon and managing a successful business, there's a few key considerations that I recommend for sellers to keep in mind. And one thing I'd like to point out is that there's many variables in sales. So whether you're selling online or through a brick and mortar store, but these are things that really are entirely in your control and can help you to realize your full potential on Amazon. To start off, I'd like to talk a little bit about selection. As I mentioned, with the monthly membership fee, we're not charging you per listing. And so we definitely recommend that sellers take advantage of that. You have the ability to list an unlimited amount of products. And when it comes to adding selection on Amazon, especially for new sellers, there tends to be a correlation between the more products that you list and the greater level of success that you see in the long term. A seller recently summarized this nicely in saying that selling on Amazon is like having a location for your storefront in the busiest shopping center in the world. You wouldn't stock your shelves half full, so why should selling online be any different? A common mistake that I see sellers making when starting out is that they'd like to start with a test batch of products, right? So the idea that potentially you have thousands of SKUs in your catalog, maybe you want to test it out with 50 products to get started. Now, the hard thing with that is that in a new channel of sales where you don't have data to back up what products you're putting forward, you're losing visibility on how well those other items that you haven't listed could have been doing. So it's not really a true test. What typically is going to be the better method is listing as many items in your catalog as you can. So going broad, casting a wide net, and then after you have sales history to back up recommendations, go narrow and go deep. So if you've listed 1,000 products, but you have 10 that are selling really well, great. Maybe you just want to focus on those 10 products moving forward and source and produce products accordingly. But until you know which exactly those products are that are going to do well in this new channel, it's hard to make that judgment. One thing, if you do need to start somewhere, you can't list the entire range to begin with, I would recommend taking a look at other channels locally to see what your best sellers are and probably put those forward first. But again, this is a new channel of sales, and we do have a broad range of products on the Amazon site, which does attract a broad range of customers. So potentially products that may not be your best sellers on other marketplaces could do very well with us. Additionally, this is a new marketplace, right? So we've recently launched in last year, and we are growing quickly, but there are some great selection gaps for sellers to take advantage of. So potentially, these may not be your best-selling products on other marketplaces, or you might have more competition, but on Amazon, as we're growing, those might be good areas for you to take advantage of and create selection to fill in those gaps. So tied pretty closely to selection is going to be quality. This one I cannot emphasize enough. Accurate, high quality product data is going to be crucial to discoverability and sales. So how you present your products will greatly influence the customer's purchasing decision when shopping on Amazon. This is going to lead to increased traffic to your product listings, improve the customer experience. You'll see better conversion rates and lower customer returns. So some key pieces that I would be mindful of when building a high quality listing are going to be pointed out here on the screen, but of course your title, this is going to be a big one. This is what customers are seeing in search results before they even click through. So important to have an accurate and concise title there. We're also going to be, of course, talking about images, right? So when you're selling online, this is really going to be your key marketing lever to help the customer understand what the product is and be able to make that informed purchasing decision. Now the bullet points, so point number 3 here, these are going to be key product features. You will have a section later down in the detail page where you can have a full product description. But we recommend that in these bullet points, you're putting your key product features. So the things that you need the customer to know right away in order to make the purchasing decision. Aside from the images, what else do they need at a glance? So keep these concise but informative. And also categorization. So point number 4 here, it's going to be important that you are accurately categorizing your listings. So when I mentioned that this is going to be crucial to discoverability, we're talking about a couple of things. So search results. When customers are going to the site and they're searching for a product, we are going to be looking at the details on your listings, including the title and your keywords to determine what's relevant and where to bring products up in customer searches. But we all are also going to be looking at this categorization. So especially when customers are refining their search results or they are browsing through categories on the site, having an accurate path, so what we call a browse node, where you're pointing to what specifically not only that category is, but the subcategory of that product. So accurate categorization is going to be crucial. I did mention before that we're growing quickly and launching new programs and services for our sellers in Australia to get to parity with those other marketplaces that we operate that are more established. And one of the things that will come with that expansion is going to be more tools and services for sellers around promotions and advertising. So we do have a program called Sponsored Products, which is pay-per-click advertising, and that helps sellers to boost new listings on the site in search results based on keywords that you're selecting. We also have things like lightning deals and promotions where you can self-service and add products to our deals pages. Currently, those are programs that are not yet available in Australia, but will be launching soon. In the meantime, I would recommend that you focus your energy on creating good quality detail pages, as this is going to be the biggest lever you have right now to determine discoverability on the marketplace. It's also a great opportunity for new businesses to focus on and really level the playing field with larger businesses. So no matter how large or how small you are, if you take a little bit more time to focus on creating quality detail pages, you're really setting yourself up for success in the long term. We do tend to see a little bit of a snowball effect for new detail pages on the marketplace. So you've created a listing, you start to see some traffic and sales and reviews. That's only going to help your product become more discoverable in the long term, right? So we're trying to display and bring up products in customer search results that are relevant and that we know previous customers have been delighted by. So of course, creating high quality detail pages now can help you in the long run in that regard. Providing a great customer experience is going to also be a critical part of being successful on Amazon, and again, really any channels that you're selling on online or in store. And this can take many forms. So it does come into play in multiple stages of the sales process. This is going to start when, of course, you're creating your detail pages and focusing on quality and that customer experience that's going to be had on the detail page. But it also comes into play when you're looking at the offer that you're creating. So we recommend creating a competitive offer that not only takes into consideration the pricing of your product, but also shipping. Right, so as a customer, I'm going to be looking at the total price that something costs me, the product price plus the shipping, and speed of delivery is going to be included in that as well. So creating a competitive offer is going to keep buyers coming back. This is also going to play a role in delivery experience. So aiming to set short and accurate handling and transit times so that customers can get your products quickly, but also you're meeting the expectation that you've set. Right, so if you've said that you can offer shipping, in 3 to 5 days, making sure that you're meeting that promise. When faster and more affordable delivery options are offered, we see customers purchasing more often. Motivation is my favorite best practice or key consideration because it is pretty subjective. It can mean different things for everyone. But as I've mentioned before, Amazon is going to give you the tools and growth levers necessary to manage your business, but how you choose to interact will be completely up to you. Motivation can be difficult to quantify, and again, it means different things for everyone, but I can say that it is the common denominator for every successful seller on Amazon. And this is going to be taken into consideration when you're looking at the different tools and growth levers provided to you and how you're using that information to make informed decisions about your business. Ultimately, we think long-term as a business, and we recommend the same of our sellers. Like any channel, this is going to perhaps take a little bit of time to set up and get right for your business, but I can promise you that inputs do equal outputs. And of course, one of our most exciting marketplace programs, Fulfillment by Amazon. This is going to be a great way to provide an excellent customer experience while scaling your business through a new channel of sales. So Fulfillment by Amazon, we commonly refer to as FBA. It's going to allow third-party sellers to take advantage of Amazon's fulfillment network and leverage our customer service expertise. Pretty straightforward. So tagging on the back of the how it works kind of diagram I showed you before. So you're creating your account, you're publishing your listings. Once you have created those listings, you can determine which products you would like to send to FBA. So this doesn't have to be 100% of your selection. You choose which products and how many quantities you would like to send in. Similar to what I mentioned about the selection piece before, I would recommend casting a wide net and sending in shallow inventory. So sending in as many different types of products as you can with maybe just a few quantities of each until you understand what is going to sell through quickest, and then you can replenish on a schedule that makes sense. So once your products are in our fulfillment centers, we of course are going to manage any orders that come in. On the website, your products would also become Prime eligible. So this is a huge benefit of this program. A lot of sellers view Fulfillment by Amazon as being a specific logistics service, which is great, and it definitely is. It will help you to manage sales and customer service through this new channel. However, a lot of people don't think about the discoverability benefits that it also plays on the website. So any products that are in Fulfillment by Amazon are Prime eligible on the site, meaning that when customers are refining their search results on Amazon by Prime eligible items only, or they're specifically searching for those Prime products or browsing through them, your listings as a third-party seller would come up in those results. Now, once the order is placed, we are going to pick, pack, and ship the product to the customer. And then we will also manage any customer service and handle any returns. This can also be a huge time savings for you as a business to focus on your core business and kind of let us handle the day-to-day tasks. Over the last time I received a statistic on it, over 50% of customer contacts are related to either tracking or questions about the shipment. And so we can take on those inquiries. If there is something that's specific to the product, we may route those contacts back to you as the seller, since you may know those answers better than we could. I've already touched on a couple of the benefits of the program, but just to kind of highlight these here for you, there are numerous benefits of Fulfillment by Amazon. But the three big ones that I think are important to take away are going to be trust, growth, and cost. So Amazon customers shop on our sites, trusting the brand and the shopping experience that they will find on our marketplace. And customers also love when products are delivered fast and for free, which is why this program is going to be able to make your products a little bit more competitive in that regard. They are going to be eligible for that fast and free Prime shipping. And this is going to feature delivery speeds as fast as 1 business day in Australia, which is super cool for customers. From a growth perspective, with FBA handling all of your shipping and customer service and returns, we're freeing up your schedule and those day-to-day tasks, allowing you to focus on more strategic parts of your business. And for cost, when participating in FBA, you're only paying for what you're using, and there's no minimum requirements, there's no setup fees, there's no subscription charges, so you can scale your business at low cost and high flexibility. We are going to have 2 parts of the pricing structure. It is going to be a storage fee, which is prorated based on the number of products that you're sending in, and that is charged on a per cubic foot per month basis. And the second fee is going to be for us picking and packing the product and shipping it out. We're not charging you shipping to the customer. Every product would incur products that are the same size and the same weight would incur the same shipping fee. So even if you're based in Sydney and you're sending something in the Sydney Metro versus sending something up to the Northern Territory, that's going to be the same cost to you, which can be a huge advantage for Australia businesses. We are going to have specific pricing related to not only selling on Amazon and what categories we have available and the specific referral fees related, but also specific fees for that Fulfillment by Amazon program. So you can go in and take a look at, based on the size and the weight of your product, what those fees would be. You can view those at this link here. I know that the Neto team is also going to be sending out a takeaway at the end of the session today, and that will also have some helpful links for you to dig into some of that information. As I mentioned before, we launched our marketplace in Australia less than a year ago, so it's still very early days for us, and we're very much focused on creating the right selection for our customers. In the coming weeks and months, we're going to continue to launch additional programs and features for our sellers to get to parity with those other marketplaces. But we are growing quickly, and I can't emphasize enough that now really is the time to get started and take advantage of this new marketplace as an early adopter. So I really thank you for your time today, and thanks to the Neto team for having me. I'll go ahead at this time and pass it back to Ryan to give us a demo. And if you do have any specific questions, please feel free to submit those.
Great, thanks, Brittany. Thanks so much for all your insights and tips. I particularly like the tips around creating, quality listings. I'm a really big advocate for quality content, and it's great that, that truly is the way right now to differentiate yourselves from other sellers and to, I guess, get traction on Amazon Australia and set yourself up for long-term success. Okay, so I'll just take over the presentation now. So you should be seeing my screen again, guys. Okay, so now let's get into the Neto Amazon integration. And I guess this integration has been designed to make it quick and easy for you to publish your products on the Amazon marketplace. So as an all-in-one retail management platform, a core part of our offering is marketplace management, and our Amazon Australia integration allows you to effectively and efficiently manage all of your Amazon Australia information from within your Neto control panel. So with Neto, you can create and maintain your Amazon listings rather than having to log into Amazon Seller Central. You can view and manage your Amazon orders and payments and information related to those orders. And you can obviously process and fulfill your Amazon orders using the same process as your other sales channels using the same shipping options. And finally, you can really centralize your inventory management. So if you're selling on Amazon, in addition to other sales channels, your e-commerce store perhaps, or another marketplace, then you'll want to be able to manage your inventory in one place. So Neto allows you to set buffers for exactly what you sell on each channel so that you don't even or ever run out of stock. And this is really important in particular for Amazon, because you can be penalized for out of stock items, meaning your seller rating will drop and you'll be much less likely to win the buy box and ultimately be a successful retailer. But at the end of the day, it does come down to customer experience. You want to make sure that what you're saying you have in stock is always and readily available. So basically, this is what it looks like. From Amazon, you're going to have sales, orders, customer information, related payments flowed through to Neto. And from Neto, we're going to push up to Amazon your product information, your stock availability. And once you do ship an order using Neto's fulfillment solution, we will push up shipping tracking information. So in a nutshell, that's what it looks like. So currently, I guess listing to Amazon is done via Seller Central, and it's been that way with Neto since Amazon launched here in Australia. And you can do this by either adding products one by one through the Seller Central control panel, and this can take a few minutes to do per product, or you can bulk upload your products via a spreadsheet into Amazon. And what I'm talking about here is products that are not yet registered in the Amazon catalog. And as you might know, if you're already an Amazon seller or you've attempted to be one, the spreadsheet can be quite complex, especially if you've got a large number of categories spread across a large number of products, rather spread across a large number of categories. And the feedback that we've been getting from some of our retailers is that this process is what is preventing them from increasing the number of items that they have listed on the Amazon marketplace. So what we've done with our integration is cut this time down to around 10 minutes to register hundreds or even thousands of products from your Neto control panel in bulk. And ultimately, this allows you to bypass these complex spreadsheets or manual ways of listing and negates the need for you to do one by one product uploads. So the next part of this webinar, I guess, is going to be a live demonstration of exactly how you can set up an Amazon seller account from within Neto, and then how you can register and maintain your Amazon listings or products. So from within your, you should be able to see my screen again now, and you should be able to see an example Neto control panel. So from within your Neto control panel, you'll notice that there is a Amazon Australia link on the left-hand side. You can also add Amazon as a sales channel through our add-on store by clicking on this plus icon. If I click on into this link, you'll receive a splash page that ultimately explains the integration and how to get started. Before you do get started with integrating your Neto account with Amazon Australia, you must set up an Amazon Australia seller account, and Brittany talked a little bit about that earlier today, and you can click through that link to do that. Once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is start the Amazon Australia setup. I'm actually going to go through the wizard with you now and just show you how quick and easy it is to actually register your products with Amazon. So you'll first need to enter your Amazon Seller ID and your Marketplace Web Services authentication token, and there's instructions on how to get these from your Amazon Seller account. The next step will be to define some basic listing management rules. So the first question you're going to be asked is, where would you like to manage Amazon Australia listings from? So if you want to do all your management from within Neto, just leave it on that as the default. Otherwise, you can have the listings managed from within Amazon Seller Central, and we'll just manage orders for those listings. Finally, on this page, do you want to enable field value rounding? So Amazon have got limits in relation to specific fields. So for example, in Neto, you might have a product width of 12.576 meters, and Amazon might only support 2 decimal places for that. So the Neto platform will automatically round that to 12.58 meters. So if you want our platform to automatically round values to match what Amazon requires, just leave that enable field value rounding to enabled, and it'll do that for you. You can have the system not round any of your values if you choose for it not to, though. So once you've defined some basic listing management rules, you'll then define some product pricing rules. So again, you don't have to have Neto manage your Amazon pricing. You can have your pricing managed from within Amazon Seller Central, and you may want to do that if you want to use a pricing automation tool. We do have a pricing automation add-on that integrates with Neto. So if you were to use that add-on, then you would have Neto manage the pricing, and our system will automate the pricing management for you. You can also, with our platform, select which price group in Neto you want to use for Amazon. So for example, if you want to have an Amazon specific price, you can use our customer group or price group feature. You can name that price group Amazon, and then you can select that price group as the price group that you'll be using for your Amazon listing. So if you want to have a different price on Amazon than you do for your own web store, this is how you would do it. However, we would highly recommend against doing that. We believe that you should have price parity across all of your sales channels, and in fact, I think Amazon had the same feeling about that and potentially would penalize you for not having the same pricing across all your channels. You can also select whether or not you want your promotion pricing to be pushed through to Amazon. So if you have a promotion running on Neto and you want that promo price to be reflected on Amazon, again, so that you have price parity across all of your sales channels, then select this tick box. You can then define some stock management rules. So again, do you want Neto to manage your stock? You can select for stock not to be managed by Neto. So in other words, you would manage your stock in Amazon Seller Central. And then you can select whether you want all your stock or a limited quantity of stock to be listed to Amazon. If you select a limited quantity, you can define your stock limit quantity. Again, we would recommend listing all your stock. And then you can also define a stock buffer. So you may want to put a buffer of 1 or 2 items just to ensure that you do not oversell through any of your particular sales channels, which can lead to a negative customer experience. Finally, as step 5, you want to define some shipping rules. So this is where you would map shipping options that you have set up in Neto to Amazon options. So in Amazon, you'll be able to set up a standard and an expedited shipping option. And here you can map those options to Neto shipping options that you have set up, so that when a sales order is entered into your Neto control panel from Amazon, the correct shipping option is selected. And finally, you can define your handling time. So this is the number of days between receiving an order for a customer's products and the time it takes you to ship it out. Finally, you want to review these settings before completing the setup. So this is just a quick summary of what you've selected, and then you can complete the Amazon Australia setup. So that's essentially it. You've now linked your Neto control panel to your Amazon Seller Central account, and now you can start listing your products to Amazon, and that's what I'm going to go through next, which is Amazon product registration. So the way Amazon works is that there's a single listing for each unique product on Amazon, and then you as a seller link your inventory to that individual listing. If that listing or that product or unique product doesn't already exist on Amazon, then you need to register that product with Amazon. So create that first listing of the product. Now, if you sell your own brand of goods, you're an importer and distributor for a particular brand, for example, then there's a very good chance that that product will not exist on Amazon Australia, and you'll need to register the listing. And that's what we'll go through today. So to make listing registration simple and to negate the need for you to list each product one by one or register each product one by one, we have this concept of mapping. So that is mapping your Neto inventory to Amazon. And this is in two simple steps. So the first step is mapping your categories. So that's the product categories you have set up in Neto to Amazon's product category tree. And the second step is then mapping your product fields in Neto to Amazon specific product fields. So the first step, like I said, is category mapping. So from your menu, now that you've installed Amazon Australia, you'll note there's a category mapping link that you can click through to get into setting up category mapping. You can also click through from your Amazon Australia dashboard to get through to the category mapping page. So open the category mapping page here, and the first thing that the system is going to ask me to do is select the Neto categories that I want to actually sell on Amazon. So the categories of products that I want to sell on Amazon. So in this example, for example, I'm going to list everything from my furniture, dining chairs category. So I add this category, and then the system will ask me to map that category to a related Amazon category. So this is essentially Amazon's category tree. So I'm going to select home, I'm going to select furniture, I'm going to select dining room furniture, and then I'm going to select dining chairs. So now the products that are listed in Neto's furniture dining chairs category will be listed to the Amazon category home furniture, dining room furniture, dining chairs. So I'll use that category and save my changes. So ongoing now, any product that I approve to sell on Amazon in Neto that sits in the dining chairs category will be automatically listed to that related category on Amazon. And we'll go through that step in a moment. But there is one step that I need to do before this all happens, and that is my product field mapping. That's telling Amazon what fields in Neto are related to what fields in Amazon. And these fields and the required fields will change depending on the categories that you list to on Amazon. That's why it's important that you do your category mapping first, because the categories that you select to sell on Amazon through will determine the product fields that you need to populate. So again, from my menu, I now go to product field mapping. And obviously, if I had more categories that I wanted to sell into on Amazon, I'll just keep adding them on that previous page. And so now I'll go to Amazon Australia product field mapping. So you'll see here I've got product fields and I've got category specific product fields. So product fields are fields that are relevant to every product that and every category that I would want to sell on in Amazon. So I've got my core fields. So these are core product fields such as product name and description. Now the system will automatically map fields for you. So it's auto-selected, for example, UPC to map to product ID on Amazon. It's automatically selected product name in Amazon to map to name in Neto, product description in Amazon to map to description in Neto, shipping template. I can also select a specific Neto field if I want to define a specific shipping template on Amazon, which is not required. Now, because these fields are the same for all Neto customers, we have, as you just saw, automatically mapped related fields already for you. However, you do have the ability to go here and, for example, if I didn't want name in Neto to be used for product name on Amazon, I could create a custom name. I could create a custom field in Neto, for example, called Amazon product name, and then I could map that name instead if I wanted to. Then I've got under here category-specific product fields. So category-specific product fields are defined by my selection of category in this prior step. So I can see here for home, furniture, and decor, there is a category. There are some category-specific fields. So unique to furniture and decor are these fields here, and I can define related Neto fields. So obviously, the more fields that you map and the more data that you're providing to Amazon, the higher quality listing you're creating, which will greatly improve the chances of that listing being found by consumers and you winning the buy box. So we would recommend that you do map as many fields as possible and create unique fields where possible. Now, Brittany mentioned earlier, and I sort of skipped over it, and that was what she called, I guess, key product features, or the bullet points that appear on your Amazon listings. These are really important fields, and we would highly recommend populating key product features for every one of your products. And so you can do that through this interface. So you could create custom fields for Amazon. For example, you create a field called key product feature 1, key product feature 2, and then you could map those using the mapping tool that we have here, so that when you list a product to Amazon, it will use the data in that field when it creates the listing. Okay, so once you've finished mapping your product fields and your category specific product fields, creating listings on Amazon is really simple. You simply go to your product manager, so view all products, for example. And from within the product manager in Neto, you can select to approve products to list to Amazon. So you can do this in bulk, or you can do it one by one. So from the product listing page, I could, for example, select this chair down here and then approve that product for Amazon Australia. So now that I've approved that product for Amazon Australia, based on the settings that I defined during the setup wizard, the platform will register and list that product with Amazon Australia. Once the system has listed the product with Amazon Australia, you'll be able to see the status of that listing from your Amazon Australia listings page. This is a sample listings page that I've got up here. And you can see a list of all products that are listed to Amazon Australia, as well as the status of those listings, when it was last synced, etc. There's also links through to the individual listings, and even links through to the listing within your Amazon Seller Central account as well. If there is a problem with listing a particular item, so for example, the data in your product fields is not valid for Amazon Australia, those errors will be displayed from within this listing management page, and then you can rectify the error, and the next time the system syncs with Amazon Australia, it will resolve that issue for you, and hopefully you'll get a success message under the sync status. So the listing process does work a little bit differently to some of our other marketplace integrations, in that the way it works with Amazon Australia is we push, in bulk your product data to Amazon, and then over time they respond with a success or failure message, which again you'll be able to see under the sync status section within your Amazon Australia listings page. So you can't in real time, I guess, create a listing. Instead, the system will in bulk push listings, and then in time you'll get a response from Amazon to whether or not that product was successfully registered or not. Once a product is successfully registered, the system will continue to maintain that product on Amazon. So as your stock levels change, so as you add or remove stock from the system, it'll increase or decrease the quantity of stock available on Amazon. If you change a product's price in Neto, again, it will automatically change the product's price on on Amazon. And like I said earlier, when a sale happens from within your Amazon account, that sale will be automatically pushed into your control panel, and you'll be able to pick, pack, and process that sale directly from within Neto as you would any other sale for any other channel, using the same shipping methods that you would for other channels. And once you ship the item, Neto will push up the shipping status, the tracking information to Amazon, who will then notify the customer of the shipment status. So pretty straightforward, as you can see. The steps are simple. The first step is to link your Neto account to Amazon Australia. The next step is to do your category mapping, your product field mapping, and then approve products to be listed. I did mention that you can approve products in bulk or one by one through the product interface. Probably also worthwhile mentioning that you can also bulk import changes to a product's approval status. So if you want to approve all your products at once to be listed on Amazon, you can import a CSV file or an XML file to approve them in bulk. You can also do this through our API if you choose to do so. So that's really it. It's pretty straightforward. If you do have any questions about how to register your products with Amazon Australia, please check out our support documentation. There's a video that goes through this process from start to finish, as well as supporting documentation as well. I've already gone through setup steps, so just quickly, just to reiterate an offer that Brittany mentioned before. If you go to services.amazon.com.au and click on the Sell on Amazon link, you'll see that there is a special starter offer. We'll post a link to this in the chat box. So until December 31st, Amazon are offering 50% off your monthly subscription for the first 2 months, and the subsequent 6 months are then free. So for those of you who are looking at Amazon as a channel to reach new customers and increase sales for Christmas, then this is really an ideal opportunity for you. And of course, there'll be some of you that are thinking that there's no way you'll be able to get set up and selling on Amazon before Christmas, given how busy you might already be, but it's still very worthwhile claiming this offer, even if you do it just before the 31st of the month, just to get yourself started. Obviously, some of you might have a lot of work to do in terms of improving the quality of your data before you get your products listed on Amazon. It might take some time, so this is a great offer for you to be able to do that without paying seller fees for up to 6 months, which is great. Okay, so now that you've heard, I guess, from Brittany, and you've had a chance to see what the Amazon Australia integration is all about, I'm going to put it out to the floor for any questions. We have been answering questions as we have been going, so I'll just quickly look through any of the questions here that might be worth answering for everyone. Okay, just a question about the recording of the webinar. We are recording the webinar, so we will be sharing that with you afterwards, as well as a copy of the slides, and like Brittany said earlier, also a takeaway from Amazon. Okay, so a question, do we have to sign up to Amazon directly, or do we just go through Neto? You do have to sign up for an Amazon seller account directly with Amazon. Once you've got that account, you then need to enter your account credentials in Neto to create that connection between Neto and Amazon.
Hey, Ryan, I've seen a couple of questions related to UPCs and EANs.
Yeah.
I did just want to point out that if you don't have UPCs or EANs, I mean, we would recommend getting them, sourcing those directly from GS1. I think there's a number of benefits to your business in the long term of having those unique identifiers, especially if you're selling across multiple channels. But if you don't have them, you can't source them, or it's not relevant for your products, we will work with you on providing an exemption. So I think it might be helpful to add that to the list of links that we'll be sharing after the session today. We have a help page that's related to that where you can learn more about how to go through that exemption process or where it's relevant to request an exemption versus where we would recommend either seeking those out from the supplier or purchasing them if you're the brand owner.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And also for those of you that are aware that maybe your products are already listed on Amazon, but you're not the seller, Neto will still link your inventory to those listings, and it does that through your UPC. So it is really important that you do have the correct UPC entered on your products, because that's what's used to link your Neto inventory to the Amazon catalog. And usually your supplier can provide that if you don't already have it. Okay, just another question. It's a common one actually, just around the content of product descriptions. It's really important that you have and are pushing through to Amazon very clean data. This is critically important. So if you do have, HTML or video script or even images in your product descriptions, those descriptions won't be accepted by Amazon. So it's really important that you clean up your descriptions to be really plain text descriptions. They do support, paragraph tags and some basic HTML, but it's critically important that your descriptions are clean. So if you have a large number of products with very messy descriptions, maybe full of HTML and scripts and images and whatnot, then I would highly recommend either employing the services of a contractor or looking to the web, Upwork or a similar solution like that to help clean your product data for listing to Amazon. It's well worth the investment in terms of the long-term benefits of having clean and valid data for your Amazon listings.
I did just see a comment here on the promotion for registration. If you have recently registered, you will be included in that promotion. So no worries if you've completed the registration previously. This is going to be available for any existing as well as any new sellers with us through the end of the year.
Just a question about more on the description side of things, because this seems to be where a lot of people are getting tripped up, I guess. How about images in the description? My understanding is definitely not. You can't have images in the description. So you can map your images to Amazon image fields. That's part of that mapping process, that product field mapping. But maybe Brittany can confirm. My understanding is that you can't have, images specifically in your description.
That's correct. We would recommend that you keep the images in the relevant section, and that product description space is going to be more of a description on the product that adds on to the images that are already provided.
So another question around integration, so shipping rates. So shipping rates are not pulled from Neto and your Neto shipping matrix. You need to use Amazon's shipping matrix. So as Brittany mentioned earlier, within Amazon Seller Central, you have the ability to define rates for the different regions in Australia, and you can set up a standard and expedited shipping option, but you do that from within your Amazon Seller Central account. And then you map your standard and your expedited rates that are in Amazon to Neto, so that when an order comes down, it selects whether it should use standard or expedited shipping. So another question about if I accidentally approved a product to be listed on Amazon, would it automatically sync to Amazon, or would I manually need to push it up? No, it will automatically sync. So if you accidentally select approved to sell on Amazon, then Neto will, in the next time it runs the sync, it will list that product to Amazon. So every 5 minutes or so, we're checking for changes to your product catalog and looking for that approved to sell on Amazon flag, and based on that, syncing your data with Amazon.
I
So
do see
again,
a question.
sorry,
Sorry,
Britt,
go
just
ahead.
again, because I know a lot of people have this question. So just again to clarify, there is no way for us to link your Neto shipping rates to Amazon. That is just not an option. So you do need to set up your rates in Amazon. They don't provide an opportunity for us to integrate your shipping rates with Amazon's shipping system. Sorry, go on, Brittany.
Oh, I was just going to comment. I saw a couple questions in here regarding the payment processing and distribution of funds. I did just want to comment that Amazon is going to distribute funds on a biweekly or fortnightly basis. So every 14 days, we are going to disperse any funds in the account to you. When an order is processed, we are going to reserve those funds for 7 days post the expected delivery date. Just to make sure that there's any funds there to cover any returns. But again, we're going to be otherwise dispersing funds every 14 days to you as the seller.
And just a question, a question around descriptions again. That's probably a really good one. Is around if you want to use a different description for Amazon to what you might use for your own web store, you can do that. The way you would do that is you would either create a new field in Neto using custom fields. So you may create a custom field called Amazon description, and then you would map that field that you've created, Amazon description, to the product description field on Amazon, and would use that description rather than your standard product description. So in short, the answer is yes, you can do that. You don't have to create a custom field. You could also use one of the available fields that you're not currently using for your web store.
I have seen just a couple of other questions regarding UPCs, EANs, and I just want to add on to what we discussed previously. GS1 is going to be our preferred vendor. There are some other, resellers of codes. GS1, I think, has recently recognized that their pricing was a bit of a barrier to entry for smaller businesses. And so it's my understanding that they have revised that pricing structure. I would highly encourage you, before going to resellers, go to GS1 directly and see what their offer is currently before exploring other alternatives.
For you that have got any of you that have got specific questions about listing to Amazon, or I guess the fact that you've maybe tried and you're receiving errors related to your inventory, if you guys could submit a support ticket with your specific errors that you're receiving, that would be greatly appreciated. Obviously, we launched this integration just a couple of days ago, and we are desperate to receive as much feedback as we can. So do please log a support ticket. Obviously, we'll take these comments and questions that you have here and respond to them directly as well. But we are looking for as much feedback as we can get related to the integration at the moment, as we refine it in the coming weeks post-launch. One of the things that we are working on actually is making it easier for you to find relevant product categories on Amazon. So we understand, the Amazon category tree is large, and sometimes it can take time to find relevant product categories for your related categories. So we are adding a search function to the category mapping tool to make that process a little bit simpler. So we have already had that feedback, and it's really great feedback. So thanks for that.
I did see a question here related to video. So having videos on the detail pages is something that we've enabled in other marketplaces. Typically, we refer to this as branded content or enhanced content on the detail page. We will be enabling similar functionality to Australia in the coming months. So be on the lookout for updates from us. These videos typically do sit within the images section. So it would be sat right alongside alternative images for the product.
So just a question, are there products that can't be listed on Amazon? yes, not every product can be listed on Amazon. We will provide, post this webinar, a link through to categories that are currently approved for Amazon Australia, and you can refer to that. And maybe Brittany, I don't know if you could point people to anywhere else that they could find a list of restricted products or categories that might be relevant.
Yes, absolutely. So we do have a help page with exactly that, restricted products available. So we can make note to send that out. Otherwise, if you do either on Google type in Amazon restricted products, or in Seller Central in our help pages type in restricted products, you will also find that that page. Generally, we're going to go off of local laws and regulations for what we're restricting.
Okay, great. I think all the other questions really have been answered either privately or will be post this webinar. Just trying to see if there's any more coming through.
I did see a question around international shipping on Amazon. So again, we're talking about specifically amazon.com.au in this webinar. And currently, we do not ship to international customers from the Australian website. However, we will be enabling that feature as soon as possible. We're really excited to be able to offer this selection globally. So more details to come on that. But at this time, we're only allowing for products to be sold domestically.
Okay, just a question around price parity again. Does that mean that if we sell on other marketplaces or on our own web store, that we should sell the product on Amazon at the same price? My recommendation, this is just a recommendation, is that you should. I think it's a very poor consumer experience if they were to find, the product that you sold them on another marketplace post-purchase or on your own web store post-purchase at a different price, whether it be higher or lower. So my recommendation would be to have a pricing strategy that allows you to sell at the same price across all your sales channels, so that you're providing a consistent customer experience.
I would definitely echo that. I think we typically recommend looking at it from the customer experience in creating a consistent experience across all channels, but also keep in mind that as a customer, if you were to come across different prices on different channels, it's a little bit of a trust buster, right? So always relate back to the customer experience when you have questions related to your offer.
So another question is regarding category mapping, whether or not you can use the top, I guess, category rather than a leaf category when listing to Amazon, and the answer is yes, you can. That was a feature that we recently rolled out. In fact, I think we're rolling it out today, Scott is telling me. So it's not potentially available to you right this second, but probably in the next few hours you will be able to do that. So that will, for many of you, make it a lot easier to do your category mapping. So what I mean by that is, where before you might have had to select furniture, dining, and then chairs, you can now just select furniture and map it to the related category in Amazon. So that might make it a little bit easier for you, especially if you have got very intricate category trees on your own website, where Amazon might not have as much depth to that particular category on Amazon. So if you have started your mapping process, you might want to wait a few hours if you've got that situation, I guess. So by the end of the day, it should be out to everyone. Okay, this is a really good question, actually, and it's a very relevant question, I guess, while Brittany's on the line too. But should we be printing the Amazon invoice to send with the Amazon order, or should we be sending the Neto invoice? So what's really, really important when it comes to shipments that you're sending from Amazon is that you do not send promotional material along with those orders. Ultimately, Amazon do own the customer, and you need to adhere to Amazon's terms and conditions around that. So unlike some of your other sales channels where you might be sending promotional material with your orders, you shouldn't be doing that with your Amazon orders.
Right, that's correct. We do just ask that any traffic that we're driving to your products does stay on the Amazon Marketplace. So do keep that in mind when you're following up with customers.
Um, okay, I think, Brittany, I don't know if you have the answer to this, but is there a place where I guess people can get a current Amazon category tree list that they can refer to for Amazon Australia, that is,
I'm sorry, say that
outside
one
of
more time. The list of
Amazon categories for Amazon Australia, like outside of obviously drilling through each category. Is there a bulk available list anywhere that you're aware of that's easily
so
searchable?
instead of going to the specific category level to see
Yeah,
the browse tree. So
yeah,
unfortunately, we don't have an all-up list at this time, and we do publish it by overarching main category.
yeah.
And I think that there's, I don't know off the top of my head how many there are, but I think it's only, what, five to 10, perhaps.
Okay.
So unfortunately, not at this time, but it is something that we'll take into consideration. One way that you could, maybe a more user-friendly way to search would be to go into Seller Central, and in our Add a Product tool, you can search for different categories or subcategories and grab customized templates there, or we'll make recommendations on where to categorize.
Yeah.
It is definitely
Cool.
more manual than what the process would be through Neto's system.
Yeah.
So probably not a good idea in bulk, but if you're really having a hard time picking out what category a product belongs to, that can be a great way to identify it. Also, I would recommend looking for similar products on the website. So if you're not sure where to place your product, go and see where other sellers or other similar products may lie, and that will give you a good indication as well.
Okay. Great. And just a question also, is there a way to break out the orders during pick and pack so that you know which ones are Amazon orders versus which ones are orders for your own web store or other sales channels? Yes, you can. You can filter orders by sales channel. That's an available filter already in the order list page. And you can also create a custom filter with that predefined. So in one click, you can always bring up a list of all Amazon orders to easily identify them. Our platform will automatically not email your customers notifications with your branding or links back to your website. Instead, our platform will push tracking data and updates to Amazon, and Amazon will, on your behalf, send tracking or shipment updates to customers. So that's not something you have to really worry about. Our platform will handle that in an automated way for you. Question about Amazon US. So Amazon US is coming very soon, and it will work exactly the same way as our Amazon Australia integration, and it will work for Neto US as well. Okay,
I
just
love it.
another
This is a super
question.
engaged, engaged
Yeah,
group. Lots of
yeah,
questions.
just another really lots of really great questions, and we will get back to all of
That's
them at
great.
the end of the webinar. There's just a lot coming through. I guess another question that's pretty relevant is just around category mapping and potentially using a different tree to map rather than your primary store category or your web store category tree. You can do that. So under your Amazon settings in Neto, you have the ability to select what category tree in Neto is used to manage your Amazon category mapping. So you could actually create a unique tree specifically for Amazon and then use that as the basis for your category mapping.
Yeah, and I think a similar question here just came through around what if my products under one category may fall between many Amazon categories. I would recommend picking the most relevant or where you think potentially some similar products may lie so that your products can be displayed there primarily, but then also use fields like your search terms or keywords to add in some of those other categories, and that will help us to kind of cross-reference in between.
Yeah.
So we'll bring up products and search results based on what the customer is searching, not necessarily always the exact category. Like that's going to be really relevant to browsing. But if you do want your product to be potentially discoverable in multiple categories, I would recommend that you leverage your keywords and search terms to be able to do that.
Just related to it's a kitted products, a question around kitted products. So as long as your kit's in, I guess, actually maybe Scotty, do you want to answer that question with kitted products? You can list yeah, about bundles, what you can and can't do, but there's rules around it though. So maybe again after this webinar, we'll send out a link to the rules with that because I know a lot of merchants do product bundles and do kitted products. So you can, but there are rules around it. And obviously you'd be listing the parent product of the kit, and then when the order comes back down into Neto, Neto will automatically split that kit out into the individual items that you need to ship. But there are rules in terms of what you can list in terms of bundles with Amazon. So we'll send a link out for that actually.
Yeah, that's also a pretty relevant area for requesting exemptions for barcodes, right? So if you're listing a bundle that doesn't have a barcode from the manufacturer, from the supplier, that's where we definitely recommend reaching out for an exemption.
I mean, Brittany, do you want to answer the one on, because I'm sure a lot of people are interested in this, given some other marketplaces have got some pretty strict rules around it, just in terms of image size,
Yes,
and
I know this
rules
one by
around
heart.
what you can have
Yeah.
on images as well in terms of watermarks and stuff.
Yeah, so we recommend keeping the image itself clear of any watermarks or any specific text. We would recommend that you do crop the image to leave out as much white space as you can and have it be a clear image of the product itself. In terms of size, we are going to ask that it is at least 1001 pixels on the longest side, and that's what's going to enable our zoom functionality on the detail page. So when the customer hovers over with their mouse, it will zoom on the product. So at least 1001 pixels on the longest side, and again, clear of any text or watermarks.
Okay.
There is a question here around contacting customers. So as I mentioned before, we do just ask that any traffic that we're driving to your products does stay on the Amazon Marketplace. As far as contacting customers, there will be times when you do need to interact, especially if you're fulfilling the product and the customer is reaching out with any questions. But after the transaction, we do recommend that sellers reach out and solicit feedback from buyers. So both product reviews and reviews as a seller. We will automatically request feedback on your behalf from customers, but it's a great way for you to interact directly with the customer and request that as well if you're not seeing that feedback come through proactively. As far as any additional contacts, we would recommend limiting it to feedback, like one contact for requesting feedback in order not to spam the customer. So we would recommend that you don't contact with any promotions after the fact. Maybe in that initial contact, if you have a sale or promotion that you want to point out, great. But something to clarify there, we don't want sellers to be incentivizing reviews. So we do want reviews to be unbiased as much as possible. So do limit any situations where you're reaching out and asking for reviews and offering either a discount code or a refund in order, in exchange for those. That is a big no-no with us. So in general, keep the communications related to the purchase, I would recommend.
Okay, so just a question, how do you contact a customer via Amazon? Where do you do it? Do you do it in Amazon or do you do it from within Neto? So you should be doing it from within Amazon Seller Central. However, Amazon do have an email passing, I guess, solution whereby they'll pass a email address to you that is essentially a masked email address. So something at Amazon, for example. If you email that email, it will email to the customer directly, but you will not have access to the customer's private email address for various reasons, of course. Okay, so sorry, we're going to have to wrap this webinar up now. There's a lot of questions still coming through, so we will answer all the questions that have come through separately to this, as well as obviously email you with the content that we've mentioned during the webinar. I really appreciate all the questions and really appreciate everyone who has attended today. A big thanks to Brittany for joining us as well. I'm sure a lot of you got a lot of what she had to say and the answers to the many questions as well. So thank you, Brittany. We will be continuing to build out this integration, obviously, in the coming months. We have a full-time team working on it, and we'll refine it based on your feedback. So like I said, please do provide your feedback. It's of utmost importance to us that you do. And we will obviously be reaching out to the merchants that are piloting this integration with us as well. So thanks, everyone, for joining me and Brittany. Have a really great day and good luck with listing and selling on Amazon Australia.
Thanks so much, Ryan, and the Neto team for having me. And thanks everyone for attending. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brittany. Cheers. Bye, everyone.